You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
Well, that didn't go well. Supposed to be the intro, but had a little technical difficulty on my end. I don't know what's going on. But anyways,
just like the Eagles organization, you're bungling the.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I'm clicking on the intro, and it's not popping in. But it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, welcome to episode 67 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. And we're here to debate and talk about a very, very eye-opening day for all Eagles fans. The Eagles have decided, well, Doug Peterson specifically, because, he wanted the decision to be his own, has decided to start Jalen Hurts going forward, but expressed his confidence in Carson Wentz going forward. These two were supposed to be married at the hip. They were supposed to be, bride and groom for the rest of their time in Philadelphia. And now we are witnessing Carson Wentz, who started his career on a very high note, falling very disastrously. There's no other way to describe that. I just can't. I can't.
It's like it's Doug and Carson. They got married because year one, they were together. New head coach, new quarterback, and that marriage was further consummated when Sam Bradford was traded away just a month before the season. Not even a few weeks.
Doug is in entanglement with Jalen.
And so we're in a 5-year relationship right now, and this 5th year, we're seeing they need some time apart. They need some time apart. They need to revisit their vows to each other. Maybe they need to redo their vows, because Doug's vows should have been, I promise to support you through thick and thin. Mm-hmm. I promise to surround you with the keys to keep you successful. Mm-hmm. And that's really Howie. But Doug, I vow to put you in a position to succeed every game. Mm-hmm. Has he done that?
Absolutely not.
No. Carson has his own flaws. We know this. We've seen this every Sunday so far. We won't see it on this Sunday, barring injury to Hurts. But we've seen it every Sunday so far. His footwork is absolutely garbage. It's gotten to the point where I look at his film and I look at the screenshots and I look at how his leg,
he's just completely broken right now.
It's just, as a PE teacher, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I teach my students differently than this. I don't teach them, especially, I'll take it from a coaching standpoint. When I teach discus, I'm teaching them footwork first before anything. And the footwork that I teach them, I'm like, you're not moving to the next part until this footwork is down. This footwork is not, I'm not going to teach you the next part. So that's what Carson needs to go back to right now, because his footwork, when he steps to throw, his plant leg, his left leg, it's not open. You're not opening you're keeping it closed. Your foot is pointed to the sideline when it should be pointed to your target at least. Not many quarterbacks are Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes can have his foot backwards and he'll still complete the pass down the field. But you need to be able to step and throw into it. And he's not, when his hip is so closed, he's not turning fully, and then the ball is sailing. It's just elementary stuff right now and again, so we are blaming Carson for all this too. But the plays, the game plan, the schemes, everything has been so bad. And now this is 2 different instances now between Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts, where a different quarterback comes into play, and all of a sudden the game plan, the playbook opens up. So why can't you do that for Carson? because he's shown in the 13 games he played in 2017, he's shown he can do everything. He can absolutely do everything. Maybe Doug he's a little timid with Carson because he knows he's struggling. He doesn't want to throw out the whole playbook because he knows it's going to fail with Carson. Maybe. And he wants to see what Jalen Hurts can do.
You think
Maybe.
Doug is more insecure when he's approaching Carson? Like he's insecure. Do you think Doug feels insecure with everything that he brings to the table with Carson Wentz, knowing that Carson Wentz was given the keys to the kingdom and everything was riding on Wentz's play, where he's like, you know what, do what you got to do, and we'll figure it out, kind of thing. Opposed to where Jalen is like, follow these steps and we'll get it together.
I think we're at a point where Doug is also in a position to lose as well here. You know, I feel like Doug and Carson are both in the same, in the aspect of there's always been someone looking over their shoulder, looking behind them, like we're ready to take over when needed. You know, we have all these reports saying that Jim Schwartz was the, you know, former head coach that comes in as defensive coordinator.
But he wanted Doug's job.
But he wanted Doug's job. So he has that. And then we have all these more reports of Jim has full say of what he wants on the defense. Does Doug? Reports tell us no.
It doesn't. I mean, and Carson looked like baffled when they asked him about the play calling. Like he didn't know that Press Taylor was supposed to be calling the plays.
Right. So, like, is there a communication issue here? And what's going on? So it's like this whole organization so far, from Howie and Jeffrey Lurie, the two people that are supposed to be leading this team on the field between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, really not setting themselves up. I know we have the Super Bowl. Yeah, obviously they have some.
Which was lightning in a bottle. Can we? I mean, it was.
I think at this point, like, we go from the new norm to a rough start in 2018, 2019, only to make the playoffs each year, and now we have this crap. So you have to look at 2017 like the 2007 Giants, where they were really bad and they limped into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they caught fire.
But this team wasn't
and won the Super Bowl.
Like, this team was so well put together in 2017. Like,
right, but the offense sucked.
Offense didn't suck
with Nick Foles. We've already discussed this.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Carson though.
And then the Atlanta game, he sucked. So he caught fire. So it maybe like everybody wants to make fun of the Eagles. Again, the Super Bowl is a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They won it. Like, you can't take that away. As much as Mike Florio wants to try, you can't take that away. But they could have been just one of those teams that caught fire at the right time, and that's there's no issue with that. You just need to take that and you need to build from there.
You're supposed to run with it. They didn't.
They didn't. They were content with the parade. They were content with the talk shows. They were content with the free Bud Light because they won the Super Bowl. They were content with all of these accolades that came with winning the Super Bowl, and that's it. And then we get this excuse of, slow start to 2018 because of the Super Bowl high, and they didn't really have that much of an off season because they were doing this and doing that. Okay, great. Kansas City Chiefs just won the Super Bowl last year, and look at them. They're 11-1.
They're still balling out. They're running with it. That's what a great organization does.
Right. You continue to build.
Lurie is trick. In my opinion, this starts with the owner. The owner has his hands too deep into the pot where he's literally just messing up everything. As delicate as he's trying to be, he's completely tarnishing everything that the Eagles had in 2017. You ruined a quarterback that was your franchise quarterback that you just gave over $108 million guarantee last year.
Yeah,
something of that sort. You just gave him that contract, and he's supposed to come into terms with that contract this offseason, but you drafted a backup quarterback in the second round. You don't draft a quarterback that high if you have your franchise quarterback. That's my issue. This is not a QB factory. Like, the Eagles do not develop anybody well at all.
I've never heard of any other team besides the Eagles deem themselves
That was such a ego
a certain
move.
title. Like we have the Dream Team years ago,
Oh god!
and now we have the QB Factory. Like what other team has members that deem themselves a certain like name?
How egotistical do you have to be to actually deem yourself the QB Factory?
Like it's just it's like and to be honest, what kind of factory has it been? I mean, before Carson, you get Sam Bradford, you get Mark Sanchez,
Chase Daniel,
you have Chase Daniel, you have Foles way back when in the 2017 years.
Vince Young.
You have Vince Young, you have Kevin Cobb, you have AJ Feely, you have it's outside of McNabb and Wentz, well maybe Foles. What kind of factory have you run?
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. So to make all these comments and then you have Doug's press conferences and Howie hasn't said a word since September and Lurie hasn't said anything for a while.
None of us will talk until the end of the season.
All right, but it's still like it's just all on Doug right now. I feel bad for the guy. Like he's
going through it. You can tell.
He is weathered right now. He is absolutely weathered, and and all these reports coming out that not reports, but like all these rumors of Carson Wentz not being the most coachable. I mean, I've been told the same thing. When I was interviewing my source for my Howie article, he threw some tidbits in there about Carson, and we all know DiFilippo was the Carson whisperer, but Carson didn't like being whispered to. Like all these things that.
But whose fault
all these things?
At the end of the day,
it's Howie first.
There's one thing is absolutely this person's fault.
And the owner. I mean, Doug has so much power here.
Doug has no power here.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't really like he didn't want Mike Rowe and Carson Walsh to be gone. I'm sure he didn't want
the next day.
Yeah, he said they have a job. They're my guys, and then all of a sudden, bye. And I'm sure he didn't want DiFilippo to leave. But I don't think that was to the Eagles' power anyway. He got an OC job in Jacksonville. And
Isn't it like a weird? It's a weird coincidence that the way that they handled Mike Crow and Carson Walsh is kind of the way they handled Travis Fulgham, where Travis Fulgham was deemed the guy, and he's lost his snaps to Alshon Jeffrey now.
Like Travis Fulgham was on a tear.
How do you go away from the kid?
Tear, and he hasn't done shit
in
3 weeks.
You're too good. No, we can't have you right now. You're way too good. We got to move to the old guy, make it look bad. We got to get Carson out of here.
Like this is to me, this is J Jaw all over again. Because last year,
oh God, please.
Last year, we heard Doug's comments about J Jaw because the first few weeks of the season he wasn't playing, and we heard. Well, I mean, he had the Detroit drop, but it was J Jaw wasn't seeing the field because Alshon was out there. And it's going to be hard for J Jaw to see the field with Alshon out there. Which
Doug said that we would not see a disappearance of Travis, and he's completely gone.
Which at the time was reasonable because we all knew when J Jaw was drafted, he was the eventual Alshon Jeffrey replacement. But then J Jaw's being trained in XYZ receiver and all this crap. And now we see Travis Fulgham ball out for 5 weeks. And then now Alshon Jeffrey's back, and it's like, well, we have to rotate the two. No, you don't.
You really don't. Like Alshon hasn't shown a lick of anything when he's on the field this season so far.
Like you're like that. Like when you have your athletes warm up, usually high knees is one of those warm ups. Alshon Jeffrey's just doing high knees every time he runs a route. He's not sprinting or anything. He's not full stride. He's just high knees until the ball comes his way, and then he's just like, He has no effort out there. Not many players out on the Eagles right now are showing much effort. Only a handful. Like Kelsey is showing effort on blocks. It's not.
They seem a bit checked out. I mean, you can't blame them. I mean, the season is lost. Your coach literally just gave up on you by announcing Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback. There's way too much. There's too much nonsense going on. Like, how is an organization actually ran like this? There's way too much nonsense.
There's so much noise. There's so much noise in this, and there's so much smoke coming out of this organization, and it's going to blow up at some point. You know, I think these problems with this organization have been for a long time now, because you just don't get these problems in 1 year. It just has to build up. Mm-hmm. But the success of 2018, Foles bringing them to the playoffs, and then the success of last year, 4-game winning streak to get into the playoffs with with Harry Mullen Curley at wide receiver, it kind of just masked everyone in that organization to be like, you know what, maybe we can make this work. We're going to dedicate ourselves to getting speed, to getting younger. We heard this from Howie himself in January and February. We saw it in the draft, kind of, with their whole, and I researched this, their whole draft were dynamic athletes as per relative athletic scoring. So you do that. You get Marquise Goodwin, like the fastest guy in the world, and it looks like you're surrounding these teams. But the thing is, we look at the Bills, and what did they do around Josh? They saw a franchise quarterback in Josh Allen being really bad for the first 3 years, I think this is third now, and they decided, you know what, we're going to surround him with some talent and see if he can really do it.
He traded for Stephon Diggs, the nastiest robber in the league.
Like you have Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. You have Stephon Diggs. You have Cole Beasley, who as much as you want to make fun of the guy, he's been his whole career. Mm-hmm. And he's always been a very reliable slot guy. You got John Brown, who's also extremely fast. Dawson Knox, upcoming tight end. Great offensive line.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know who the backup quarterback for the Buffalo Bills is?
I think it's Matt Barkley.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought maybe you would know.
I'm pretty sure it's Matt Barkley because he's been there for a long time.
So he's pretty much a veteran backing up the young quarterback.
A veteran with it's Matt Barkley.
With no real presence.
A veteran with no real
threat.
He's not going to take over the job. Like his most games ever was with Chicago in 2016. His 12 games, he went 1-5, and then he went to Buffalo. He's played in 5 games for Buffalo in his 3 years.
I just want to make sure that the Eagles were the only organization that looks this foolish to kind of copy what the Baltimore Ravens did, but they're not getting Lamar Jackson in my opinion, out of Jalen Hurts. Like, I'm not trying to dog Jalen Hurts. He's probably a phenomenal quarterback, but you had your guy. Carson Wentz isn't Joe Flacco at the end of the day. That's what
we hope to God, to Buddha, to Muhammad, to everybody that Jalen Hurts works out. If he is the quarterback of the Eagles for the future, we hope he works out.
He has to work out, or else what are you going to do with Jalen next year if he doesn't ball out?
But at the same time, you have to be able to acknowledge that the Eagles have failed Carson Wentz, 100%. You cannot argue that. And on one hand, I think that they're showcasing Jalen Hurts for a trade. And I say this because I just keep going back to the contract. Like you cannot justifiably sit down a $128 million quarterback. You can't. Like it's maybe a competition next year, but you can't. It was a competition, quote unquote, between Bradford and Wentz, and Bradford was winning until he got traded. Mm-hmm. But it's like
that contract was different.
I know his contract was different. But you cannot just say, "Yeah, we decided you were a franchise guy, but you suck for 1 year, so we're gonna bench you." We saw, and like if.
How do you go back from this? Is my real question.
I don't know, but we're working with 2 sample sizes here. I know Jalen Hurts is a rookie, it's obvious, and there's so much you can work with from a rookie from 4 games. Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw him for really 4.5 games with last game, but from 4 games, you could take that into next year and develop that. But why are you taking technically a small sample size of 13 games for Wentz when he's shown you 50-something games beforehand?
That's what doesn't make sense out of this whole situation.
I don't know. Like it's so. On one hand, I see them showcasing Hurts for a trade because if you see a team that misses out on on Lawrence and Fields next year, which is probably every team other than the Jets and the Jaguars. Is probably going 1-2. And they don't believe in Zach Wilson. They don't believe in Trey Lance. They don't believe in. They saw Jalen Hurts actually run an offense, and they're like, you know what? We're going to take Jalen Hurts. Maybe he fetches a high for second-round pick. Maybe. I don't think he's getting a first-round pick. But maybe someone does. Maybe that team is the team that Doug Peterson goes to. You know, and I keep looking at that video of the draft night when Jalen Hurts was picked.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
I was happy. Like, it wasn't
he got his guy. Which is the weirdest thing because you invested so much in Carson Wentz. You traded so many picks away for Carson Wentz. You invested so much money, but you didn't invest in the help. You didn't invest in the weapons. Like, you got Jalen Reagor, but Reagor started off injured. You invested more money in Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson, who have not seen the field for more than 2 or 3 games with Carson Wentz in the last 2 years.
Right, like the intent
right now.
The intent was there because I love the Jalen Reagor pick. I would have loved just
the Reagor pick is not bad. I'm not dogging that. But my thing is
I know.
Just put up everything else.
The intent was there. The intent was there. They picked a dynamic athlete in Jalen Reagor. And they went out and got a speedy guy in John Hightower. They got another speedy guy in Quez Watkins. They got a speedy guy in Marquise Goodwin. But how we decided that was it. That was done. Because they were rookies. So right now you're relying on rookies. You're relying on a guy in Goodwin who's failed to stay healthy throughout his career. You're relying on hoping to whatever that Alshon Jeffrey comes back from a Lisfranc injury, and you're hoping that Deshaun Jackson comes back healthy when he hasn't been healthy in a very long time from a groin injury, from surgery, both having surgery. So you're banking on 2 surgeries coming out successful, one guy who's never been healthy to be healthy all of a sudden, and you're banking on 3 rookies plus Greg Ward.
Isn't that like? Don't you look like thinking like a person, like an executive? Don't you look at that and say like, this is not going to cut it? Like at the end of the day, like it blows my mind that analysts, Twitter analysts, fans know more about the prospects and the people and the players that these executives are putting into the team than the executives do.
I'm convinced that we can build a front office from Eagles Twitter and it would be better than what we got going on in the Eagles.
Okay. So let's not invest so much negative. Let's not invest so much time negatively. Let's look at the positives. Jalen Hurts. He's starting against. It's not positive. He's starting against the New Orleans Saints, one of the best defenses in the NFL. But what can we see from Jalen Hurts going forward that we haven't seen from Wentz? I mean, besides the fact that Hurts has nothing to lose right now, honestly.
Well, I think that if you see that he's being rolled out, I think that kind of solidifies that Hurts is Doug's guy.
Okay.
Like if
he was rolled out against
a few times against the Packers.
Carson was rolled out once or twice. That's it.
I think then, like, obviously the comments in the Zoom calls will be changed. But like Hurts is learning. You're not going to get. I called out some rollouts, but it got checked out at the line. You're not going to hear that about Hurts. Mm-hmm. Hurts, he's mobile. This is my thing. Hurts is obviously quicker than Wentz.
Okay. He's healthier than Wentz.
He's healthier. But they're both similar in play style. They both thrive when being rolled out. They both love the deep ball, and they're not afraid to take chances.
Mm-hmm.
Wentz is that guy, but you're not going to call the same plays for him that you would do for a similar guy, but he's younger. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. I'm convinced Doug is a hunter, and he just wasn't invited to Carson's hunting trip.
Oh, so you're telling me that he wasn't invited down to North Dakota?
No, he was not invited, and now Doug, he's taking it out on him. But I think Hurts is going to be successful. I think Hurts is going to be successful. I really do.
But something doesn't sit right with this situation. Like, not situation. Sorry, something with me personally. I don't know what it is. It doesn't sit right with Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. I have no idea why.
You got to get that checked out at the doctor.
I probably do. I don't know what it is. I mean,
if
I checked in with my local Tavor, but
and We'll get into our sponsors in a minute.
Which we also have to announce our winner for the giveaway.
Yeah, we'll do that later. But I think Wentz will be successful. I don't think he'll be very successful on Sunday because you're facing a New Orleans team who are what?
You mean Hurts will be successful? You said Wentz.
Oh, it hurts. Yeah, whatever. Now I'm confused.
You can't whatever because this is a big damn deal.
Shut up. What?
Why am I echoing here? Is your headphones not plugged in? Are you have headphones in your head that are not plugged in?
Yes, my headphone. I'm plugged in. Look.
Okay. That doesn't mean you're plugged in.
It's plugged. It's plugged. But I don't think he's gonna be very successful against a very good New Orleans defense.
We could be wrong.
Has a front seven that's absolutely dynamic. Like Cameron Jordan is a beast.
He's nasty.
And you have a secondary featuring Lattimore
and
Mr. 27.
Say my guy. Say his name.
27. Mr. Is this at Philly?
This is in Philly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's not going to be any fans, but Mr. Smartest player that Jim Schwartz has ever coached, Malcolm Jenkins.
Would it be so like? Forgive me for saying this because I know whoever's listening, don't roast me about this, but Malcolm Jenkins sacking Jalen Hurts, and then looking at the sideline at Doug Peterson like, they gave him that. Like,
it'll be. Imagine. Obviously, we hope the Eagles win.
Just to put this out there, we're not rooting against Hurts. We are
top pick.
Imagine
Malcolm Jenkins. Imagine this game goes into overtime, and Malcolm Jenkins ends the game on a pick six.
I would applaud Malcolm Jenkins just for the fact I love Malcolm. Like, there's no other player that I probably love more than Malcolm.
New Jersey's finest.
Malcolm was a phenomenal person, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal leader. You missed that in the locker room right now. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This whole situation is really making my spirit feel foul. And that's the name of my beer from Tavor. Oh, no, this way. Spirit foul.
Why is that tripping me out right now?
Because everything trips you out. It is a IPA. It's silly, hazy, and fun. You go to Tavour.com, Tavour. Get some good beer. You're going to need it the next few weeks. So how much you're going to be drinking to forget these days. And it warms you up. It's getting cold out there. It warms you up inside. Just go to Tavour.com. Put FTB10, FTB10, $10 towards a $25 purchase after you spend $25. Sorry. But you spend craft beer is expensive. We all know. If you're a craft beer lover, you know this. You can buy 3 cans of beer and it's $25. But it's good. It's great. It's awesome. It's delicious. And then you get $10 off your next purchase. It's great. So go to Tavour, Tavour, get a beer like this. It's nice. All these beers have great designs. Like these,
and they have great names as well. Like my beer is actually named after you. Like it's named after McCullough's. Extra fluffy. It's phenomenal. I mean, strawberry, pineapple, marshmallow, vanilla.
You're lucky.
You've been so quiet. Oh my god.
We have to socially distance, so I can't punch you in the fucking face.
By the way, time out. Happy belated to your beautiful daughter.
Thank you.
That video you put up of her, was she drinking the juice or whatever kiss maybe? Is you hear the afterwards?
Yeah, she's a riot, and she's 1 year old now.
I really like you a lot. Like she looks exactly.
Which is unfortunate. Which is unfortunate for her, but it sucks to suck. But she's we're starting to teach her cheers. So now she holds out her cup whenever we and she whenever she drinks or eats, she goes afterwards. She likes to argue with me. She knows no. She makes a hand like this, and so I'm trying to teach her whenever the Eagles game is on. I want her to look at it, and as soon as she sees Doug Peterson, I want her to go no.
Well, hopefully Jeffrey Lurie ends up going no this offseason to Doug and Howie because they both got to go at the end of the day. I don't care what anybody says. You invested all this money in Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz needs to be the franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, I feel so bad after throwing him into the Lions then, and we'll have Maddy from Canal St Chronicles, I think it is.
Yeah, Maddy Hudak from the Hudak Nation.
I didn't want to say last name because I didn't want to.
Hudak from Hudak. Or is it Houday? No, Houday's Cincinnati. Hudak. Yeah, because they like to say who that ref that blew the call. I wonder if they're still pissed off about that.
Most likely. I mean, they're as bitter as Eagles fans, which you guys have been a riot for all day today when the whole Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz things has really divided the fan base. And it's so sad to see so many people hate Carson Wentz for some wild reason. First bad season he has, and you're not good enough. But anyways, I'm curious. I'm more curious than anything to see how the offseason goes. I want to see the season end. I want to see what the hell transpires when everything's said and done. That's my biggest.
My honest opinion, and I hate that I have this opinion, and I've said it before. Howie's been with the team since 2000.
They're not getting rid of him.
Howie's been through Chip Kelly years. He survived Chip Kelly years. He survived the last season of Andy Reid. I think it's easier to argue that a Super Bowl winning GM can keep a job over a Super Bowl winning coach, because the GM brought the players. Maybe Howie's guys himself. Make Howie the coach and see how he does.
No, that's a terrible call. Very terrible call. Don't you ever recommend anything like that again, please.
Howie as the coach, Andy Weidel as the OC. And then Deuce Staley and defensive coordinator.
Listen, I'm going to have a talk with Larry. I'm going to have you fired if you keep this up.
Everybody wants me fired. That's fine.
But let's bring on Maddy. Let's talk about Saints and Eagles, because it's going to be an interesting game. And there's only one team that I hate more than the Cowboys, and it's unfortunately, Maddy, it is the New Orleans Saints.
And to answer your guys' question from before, yes, we are still relatively bitter about the championship game.
And we do have...
And it's Hudak.
Okay, there it is. I didn't want to say it wrong. I kind of swung with Maddy.
We do have Nico Roby-Coleman on our team now.
Oh, wow, coincidence.
A coincidence, yeah. I'm sure that you guys will be happy to see him again.
As long as Tommy Lee Lewis isn't fielding the punts again, that's too much of a reunion that no one wants.
It's gonna be a shit show, isn't it? It's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
Oh God, thank God.
I mean, it is Taysom Hill versus
Taysom Hill.
So it's.
But that's my thing. Like, why start your Hurts now? Like, the Saints.
Because we want a game of Wildcat. We just want a game of Wildcats all game. We just want. It's gonna be Madden. It's just gonna be QB draws the whole game.
So should I start Hurts in fantasy? That what you're telling me?
No.
Oh, okay. Maddy, how you feeling today?
I'm okay. How are you guys doing?
Could be better. I mean, Chris is drinking public. Everything.
How do we feel about the Jalen Hurts start on your guys' end?
Bitter.
Bittersweet.
It's just bitter.
It's expected. It was expected. You can't bench Wentz and then be like, oh yeah, hey, go back out there.
Yeah.
And especially after the debacle of a press conference that we heard afterwards, where Doug Peterson's like, "Yeah, we told him this and that."
They didn't tell me,
and Wentz was like, "No, that didn't happen."
Bruce Arians, Tom Brady vibes. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, and it's just like it. There's no communication. So you can't do that. Like you can't. Doug has thrown Carson under the bus so many times this year. Most recently when he said that, oh yeah, we called some more rollouts, but they were checked out for runs at the line, but there wasn't really any runs at all. So
Press Taylor calls the plays. Ask Carson. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, no. So it's like a high school drama. It's like a high school show where it's like, oh, I heard you did this and this, and I'm like, no, I didn't do that. Where you heard this from? And they're like, oh, they're trying to get you out of here. And it's like Degrassi all over again in Philly. And
the only thing to add to that drama is the return of the prodigal son. My favorite Eagle, not of all time, but definitely one of my favorite Eagles of all time.
Malcolm Jenkins?
Oh my God, I freaking love the guy.
That was my biggest excitement of like a free agency signing in this offseason by far. I missed him a lot, and it was like a great Super Bowl nostalgia to get him back. But I am somewhat sorry for your guys' loss, but considering you had the most recent Super Bowl, it only feels fair that we would get him back.
No, it's still not fair. I mean, it kind of broke my heart because I actually bumped into his parents not too long before the Eagles released him, and they kind of hinted like, "Hey, he's not coming back." And I didn't say nothing about it because I was like still hoping like, "Hey."
Oh yeah, Brian knew he
You
was
could have
gone
broke the
before. We knew
news.
he was gone.
I could have broke the news. I know that, but it was kind of like I didn't want to believe it. Like it's Malcolm Jenkins, like you didn't want to believe 27 was leaving your team for 21 finger whack.
Yeah, he was like one of the only players that Sean Payton has publicly admitted to making a mistake about.
Mhm.
So
That takes a lot, huh?
Yeah, he takes accountability, which I mean, again, Bruce Arians can't relate. Sometimes it's not necessarily warranted. We are all very mixed about Fumblegate and who's more to blame on each side. But rarely does he ever like say, you know, I screwed up in like letting a player walk because it's just not really his style. And so for him to like repeatedly be saying that and then like have him legitimately flip him off at the game and not be like totally fine. This is the coach that like mocked a player for being short. So if he's not getting petty with that kind of stuff, then that it just, it didn't surprise me, but I saw the reaction was very
That killed me.
unenthused on your end.
But let's be honest about things killing me. How do you feel about this Sunday?
I feel okay.
I'm sure you do.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think like it's very dangerous to be throwing like a rookie QB basically to the literal wolves with our pass rush and everything. But at the same time, you guys didn't have an absolute chance in hell with Carson Wentz under center. So I don't know if the strategy is to like tank and then just have him write it out, or if we're legitimately like trying to have him get something generated. The only thing I can think about is it kind of reminds me of the Taysom start in the Falcons game. And you know, everyone was like, why? But when you looked a lot closer at it, it was really his, mobile abilities and that being like a specific weakness of Atlanta's. And it's not so much that it's like a weakness of our team, but more so if the quarterback can't move out of the pocket and can't get through scramble drills, then the pass rush is just going to eat him alive. So it's not so much like playing to a weakness like it was for us with Atlanta, but I think that Hurts just has a better chance because he can actually get out of the pocket because Wentz is a deer in headlights now.
He legit is a deer in headlights. It's so sad to see a
I mean, he does like to kill deer, so might as well. I think this is the deer getting back at him.
You were hunting stuff today.
He kills deer for a living. He went vegan too, so it's.
I thought he went away from that.
Who knows? He wanted his dad bod. He wanted his dad bod to be a lean dad bod, and he went away from it. He should have embraced it.
I feel like no dad bod.
I embraced mine.
Maybe embrace football next time.
I embraced my dad bod.
Let's not talk about that, bots. So
you're throwing Jalen Hurts
to
the team that has allowed the least amount of yards this year.
It's one of if not the top defense in the league, it's one of the top defenses in the league, and you're starting a rookie who, if he doesn't ball out, Eagles Twitter, Eagles fans will rip him up to shreds. And
y'all are nuts. Nuts.
Y'all too many people.
I think you're being a little light on that. We're not nuts.
I mean, I've been kicked out of 2 sports bars here, so I'm not really one to talk because I'm
we do have to talk about next. So
that's coming. That's coming. But we're psychotic. We're absolutely psychotic, and we hate each other.
That's understatement.
I think that's still putting it lightly, but you can't like we're borderline, not borderline. We're definitely that ex-girlfriend that still likes pictures from 5 years ago on Instagram. We are 100% that psychotic because we will talk about a player that we had years ago and say, "Oh, we still wish we had this guy," and we still talk about Frank Reich, who's 3 years removed from being the team, and we want to say he was the play caller.
He was just an OC.
we can't get away from that, and we can't stop talking about DiFilippo, who was once his worst or whatever. We can't stop talking about Nick Foles.
Coach at the time.
We can't stop talking about Nick Foles, even though he won the Super Bowl, but he stunk every other game that he played.
I mean, have they seen Nick Foles this year?
Yeah, that's our thing. Like he stunk in 2 different places since the Super Bowl, and we still want him here. Like we want the reminiscence of
Why wouldn't you want Jalen Hurts though? I know that it's not really like pragmatic given the contract issues, but
something's not sitting right with me with the Jalen Hurts move. Like I don't know what it is, but
I don't think the Jalen Hurts move now would be as explosive if he wasn't a second round pick.
that was what I was, because I looked, when this came out, I kind of was like, okay, well, what, has this happened really in the past, and how successful is that? And like the closest similar example would be like Matt Stafford in 2015. But the difference there was he'd been on the team for a lot longer and wasn't like taken out by injury and then had his Super Bowl taken away from him. And then his backup was like Dan Orlovsky, I think, who was like a 5th round pick 5 years before that.
He's an Eagles legend.
Oh.
We also want him.
Everybody wants Dano.
But so there was always this idea that like this was a temporary benching, get your interception rate together, and like we're not going to replace you with Dan Orlovsky. But when you preemptively do Green Bay Packers and draft a quarterback when you don't really need one, and then don't draft any weapons for your quarterback that you actually have that hasn't even started his extension yet, and have granted the O-line injuries are just, it's 2020, but I won't rag on you guys for the Jalen Reagor draft pick, mainly because I think you've had probably enough of that. But then a bunch of like 5th and 6th rounder receivers with Carson Wentz. He's not Drew Brees.
Why can everybody outside of Philly see? Well, no, you're not technically outside of Philly. Why can everybody that's not
everybody has inside Philly, but really outside Philly? Yeah.
Like I don't get it. Like Eagles fans can't see it. They just can't see past the fact that nothing was given to Wentz at all.
You just have to think about the mental like effects, and like I think that you can compare it to like the Favre situation, but he was older, and so it's understand that made sense. But it's like what is going on here? And then when someone gets in their head about stuff, that's how all rookie quarterbacks, first of all, usually end up doing horribly, is when they like get hit too many times, except like Joe Burrow until he was killed this year. But a lot of the time they just become deers in headlights, and then they become really bad players that are like in the shell of themselves. And it's basically like mentally doing it to him by drafting this guy and then not really giving him any tools to succeed on his own.
Mm-hmm.
But him knowing that he can't even go find success elsewhere, like a Brett Favre, because he's locked into this monster contract.
It's such a wild scenario. This is crazy.
We know for a fact we are. I think the one thing that Eagles fans are together on is when Wentz leaves, he's going to kick ass somewhere else. Right? He's gonna be on a team that surrounds him, because like you look at every other team that has a franchise quarterback. I mean, we could talk about Drew Brees, but he's older, but like you look at Josh Allen, like we were talking about him, year 3 rookie contract. We know rookie contract, whatever. But when Wentz was on his rookie contract, they got him some 1-year deals that ended up in a Super Bowl. They did not plan for the future from there. The Bills are planning for the future and now. They know that Josh Allen. They know that Josh Allen's contract's going to come up in a couple of years. They know that. But for the now, they got some players that are going to be there for a few years. What did they do in 2017? They got Torrey Smith, who was gone after a year. They got Patrick Robinson, who was gone after a year. Chris Long was there for 2 years. It's fine. LeGarrette Blount was out after a year. So that's a success. Great. New norm. But then they all left. And then who did they replace him with? No one. They thought Aguilar was going to continue the progression. He didn't. They decided Mike Wallace was going to be the next speedster. He wasn't. And they were hoping that Deshaun Jackson would be the Deshaun Jackson of 2010, and he hasn't been. And Alshon Jeffrey is Josina Anderson's snitch. So
we're a regular guy now. Like he has no muscle tone on his body anymore.
He's just
scrawny.
He's just a taller Tavon Austin at this point.
No, Tavon Austin is fast.
Maybe Alshon's fast, but he just can't do anything outside of that. Tavon Austin can't do shit.
And yeah, and like you said, you get lucky when you have someone on a rookie contract like Deshaun Watson. Also, even though there's a lot to unpack over there.
I didn't even mention the Texans because they are a completely different animal over there.
Yeah. And like we get lucky that Drew has like taken a lot of hometown discounts. It's also something I think people are failing to recognize as a strength of Taysom Hill, is he's literally going to be the cheapest starting quarterback of all time, should that be the case. But like something with like Jared Goff got this ridiculous $100 million contract. And then suddenly everyone was like, we need to sign our quarterbacks to these massive extensions for like not really any good reason. And
except for the Cowboys. Except for the Cowboys. They're waiting till that price is just like $50 million.
Go back to back.
Yeah, but like, I don't know why this like sudden wave of these like monstrous contracts for, I'm like, yes, I understand it's the most important position on the field, but this is the prime example of like, especially if you're not sure about someone. I mean, like,
that's what doesn't make sense about the whole situation.
It seemed just like a little bit of a hasty contract after not that long of a time. And I just feel like once you've laid in that bed, like you kind of have to lay in the bed and not do this. But like, I don't, is a trade even feasible? No one's going to take that.
Well, I don't think a trade happens. The only way I change my mind if I see a restructure within the next few weeks.
I wouldn't restructure shit.
I would if I went someone out though.
That's why I think it happens. Like if they see that Hurts is balling out, if somehow he not even beats the Saints, if he shows up the top pass defense in the league and shows off, and then he shows it again against the Cardinals when it's Hurts versus Murray, then maybe Lurie and Roseman go, listen, we can't go back to you. Like so either you take your money. So either you take your money and you be a very expensive backup and you don't see the field, or you restructure your contract and we send you somewhere that you can play.
That's what I would do.
Maybe Wentz does it.
I'm bitter when it comes to these things. I hold a grudge and I make sure I stick it to you.
I hold grudges forever. I am still very angry at my third grade girlfriend for breaking up with me over the phone.
Oh my God.
You'd phones in third grade?
Yeah.
Yes. They called my house phone. Called my house phone.
Were you off AOL or were you on AOL at that time?
No, listen. I'm. There's been plenty of times when my mother kicked me off because she needed to be on the phone.
I used to hate those days, man.
I still remember, or she told me it was good to go when I would go on and it'd just be busy. I'm like, I'm trying to sign on. She's like, oh, I needed to make another phone call. You know, I'm just trying to play Math Blasters over here.
So, serious question, Maddy. Chris brought this to my attention, and I'm very curious. So you live in the Philly area, if I'm not mistaken. Are you from Philly?
No, I'm from the Bay Area, actually. So it's.
She told me she's from Philly.
Well, I said she lives in Philly. I didn't say she's from Philly.
Okay, she lives in Philly. So she didn't originate in Philly, though. So Bay Area,
but she still lives in Philly. Like, what am I supposed to detail her whole Wikipedia page?
I'm just saying because it makes sense that she's not an Eagles fan because she's not from.
Okay, there's plenty of Eagles
well, to be
fans.
fair, I'm a Saints fan and I'm from the Bay Area. So,
yeah, so that makes even less sense.
My mom's from New Orleans. Didn't really have an option when I was born. And you know, I like Saints fans a lot better than I like 49ers fans. So
I thought you were about to say Philly fans. I was
gonna riots.
I'll just leave that one while I live here and we're playing this weekend.
Yeah, I was about to say, because if you're right in Philly and people are watching right now, they might look at the background of your house right now and be like, I know that style of apartment. I know this. So we got blueprints. We got blueprints coming out here.
When the Saints score a touchdown, do you yell out your last name instead of Hudak?
It depends on where we're at in the game. I'm either catatonic or screaming. There's not really an in between, or I'm in a closet. So
oh wow.
Minnesota Miracle closet, championship game. It's where I console myself in peace after these moments.
Where were you on the pass interference?
The basement closet.
What about Minnesota Miracle?
A bar closet.
Oh.
They brought me shots. It was work.
What
just
about
opens the door silently and was like no one was speaking to me.
What about the Drew Brees injury? His ribs.
I was wedged in between two pieces of furniture at my roommate's parents' house. hiding from, reality.
That seems like that's how I feel right now, honestly.
Yeah, avoidance. It works.
Just avoid all of our problems. That's what
the Eagles are doing.
That's what I was literally about to say. That I think that's what Howie's been doing this whole time. Like just pushing contracts, just trying to avoid everything that's coming up. And then boom, COVID hits, completely wipes out the salary cap, and like, oh shit. Oh, I mean, the one team that is worse next year are the Saints in salary cap.
We are, but we have a wizard for a general manager, and
that's what we thought too.
We don't have a wizard.
There's a whole meme going around that's been going around for years. That's Hagrid saying you're a wizard, Howie, and it's Howie's like, I'm a what? And it's the whole Harry Potter scene. And now we just know he's been a Muggle this whole time.
Well, your wizard has an issue with quarterback contracts, and ours not so much. So
our wizard has an issue with committing to quarterbacks. That's what it is. We made a commitment to
actions and dollar signs aren't lining up there
cornerbacks.
Oh well, yeah, we
because I'm pretty sure he only drafts cornerbacks that are shorter than him.
I mean, name a more iconic duo: the Saints and terrible cornerbacks, like pretty much every year right now.
Well, not anymore.
Okay, this year is the first time that it's ever been not the biggest liability on the field, only sometimes. And I would honestly credit Janoris Jenkins with more of that than I like Lattimore. I don't know if we can pay him, but I think Janoris Jenkins was the steal of the.
That's the first time I've ever heard anybody thank Janoris Jenkins for anything.
He is so really good in man coverage. And unlike Eli Apple, Marshawn Lattimore doesn't have to worry about accounting for the entire backfield.
Apple was terrible. Janoris Jenkins, did he cut off his dreads?
No, and I don't know.
He still has dreads. So I thought that was
and he got pulled down by them in a game.
I thought that was the thing because Ronald Darby leaves us and goes to Washington, cuts off his dreads, and now he's in an island corner over there. He's the man over there. So you cut off your dreads.
Darby's getting burnt over there.
Well, yeah, I had a perfect.
He's a lot better on Washington than he was here.
A lot of people are a lot better outside of Philadelphia.
I know. Look at Malcolm Jenkins.
To be fair, though, a lot of Saints have gone to Philadelphia, like Patrick Robinson and Malcolm Jenkins, and have become better players. So, thank you for returning them to us.
Darren Sproles.
I hated that you guys did that.
Yes.
That really hurt.
Boston Scott.
Oh yeah, I
don't think that one stings as much. So
no, not really, but you're welcome.
Yeah.
Boston Scott was he not a pillar of the offense last year when they went to the playoffs? I wrote a whole damn article on this on how
that's it.
No,
don't get emotional. It's okay.
Me?
Miles Sanders and Boston Scott in the last 4 games of the season were 2 of the 4 running backs in the whole league to average over. And I know these are small numbers. 4 rushes and 3 receptions over the last 4.
No,
only 4 running backs did that. Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Melvin Gordon, and Christian McCaffrey. The only running backs in the last 4 games
to have more than 4
rushes and 3 receptions.
Oh, the last 4 games. Well,
the last 4 games.
Unfortunately,
so Scott was the guy.
And when was this?
Last 4 games of the season last year when they went 4-0 and they went to the playoffs.
Yeah, but this is 2020. It's a different animal.
Yeah, I literally don't remember anything that didn't happen this year.
Black hole right now.
There's a lot of things that happened this year that were like, that happened this year? But it's been a long ass year. It's been a long ass year. We're a few, like today, I'm a teacher, Maddy, so we're on the threat of being virtual soon, and I'm a phys ed teacher, so we film videos and all this shit, and I was filming a video today. I was filming a video today for 2021. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to be 2021. It's been a long ass year, and it's like this whole season has aged me.
I know
because we go from before the season, it was like a steady climb on the roller coaster, and I don't know, since you're in Philly, I don't know if you've ever been to Six Flags in Jersey.
No,
but there's.
It's on. I've really wanted to, and then this year really ruined a lot of my hopes and dreams. So,
how long have you been in Philly?
4 years, I think.
Oh, okay, all right. So you can't blame 2020 for that. You've been
No,
here
but I'm going to.
Okay.
2020 has affected the last 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
So it's been like King to Ka. If you don't know the roller coaster, you gotta look it up. This Eagle season from the draft, from the start of the off season, you get Nickel Roby-Coleman, slot god, quote unquote, Will Parks. You trade for Darius Slay.
Good.
You sign Javon Hargrave, and we're like, oh my god, this defensive line is going to be monstrous. You go into the draft. You draft speed at all positions, which is when Rager, even Hurts. Davion Taylor's a project, but we saw speed. Sean Bradley, we saw speed. John Hightower, Quez Watkins. We got two linemen who was and we got Casey Toohill, who I really liked. And then he gets waived for Vinny Curry, and then he goes to Washington. And then we get Marquise Goodwin, more speed. So we have all the speed coming in. We're like, okay, all right. And then DeAndre Dillard injury, and then more injuries, and then keeping Alshon Jeffrey on the roster, even though he wasn't gonna be back till week 10. And then we have this Deshaun Jackson injury again, and we have another injury, and we have I think last Sunday was the 11th different offensive line combination.
I saw that. Yep.
For the Eagles in 12 games. So you have all that going, and it's just like straight down, and because that's King of the Cotton and Six Flags, it's just a straight drop down.
Gotcha.
That's been the whole Eagle season, and I feel a lot older, and I'm only 31. I just can't. I can't feel this way.
Damn, we're still 31.
Yeah, your birthday's coming up, Brian. Is that in February?
The one thing I can take from my birthday is that February 4th, 2018, the Eagles won their first and only Super Bowl, and that
is a great. The closest I have is my birthday is January 25th, and the 24th is when we won the championship game to go to the Super Bowl.
It's pretty close, though.
I'll take it. I went to New Orleans with my mom, and I declared it necessary as a birthday present. So
kind of like the 5-second rules. It says like a 5-day rule.
My birthday is St. Patrick's Day.
So you get to get drunk and forget about it.
I have a shirt that says 0% Irish and 100% drunk.
I completely believe that.
Cute. Okay. Question about like something I've been seeing. I've seen a lot of people saying that like Doug is starting Jalen so he can take him away with him next year.
That's what I said. That was definitely my tweet. That's 100% I say this. Okay. I have good reasoning. Listen, now that you're new to my followers list. Let me just warn you. I have a lot of takes that are out there, but I have good like I don't tweet any. No.
I spend a lot of time on Twitter.
I tweet a lot of ridiculous things, but for the most part, I can defend it. For the most part, I really don't like tweeting things just to tweet shit because it's just why waste your time, and that's just draining my phone battery even more. But it's like, if you look at the video of Doug Peterson when Jalen Hurts was drafted, and the zoom, like they zoomed in on him, and he looked legitimately happy. It didn't look like a forced happy. It didn't look anything like that. It looked like legitimately happy. And Carson is known, not really known, but we've been hearing reports that Carson is not the most coachable guy. He kind of got DeFilippo fired. Or gone, and there's reports that he needs to have control of who's around him. That's why we see an inept coach and Press Taylor around him right now, and I know quarterbacks are divas. I know that, and for the most part they want what they want. They know what works for them and all that. But if that's not Doug, then maybe Doug goes somewhere else. I think it's the writing's on the wall that Doug's not going to be here next year.
So are you saying that based on this video from the draft that this has been?
No. Listen, I'm adding that. I'm adding that to my reasoning.
Come on.
I'm adding that into my reasoning because of a few months ago, back in October, I talked to someone that was close to the Eagles organization about Howie Roseman, and he added into the fact that Carson really doesn't want to hear it from coaches. Like he doesn't. So the fact that they drafted a quarterback in the second round, And when you look at Wentz and Doug's relationship as far as the game plan, you look at outside of 2017, when Wentz is in there, it's a completely different game than when Foles was in there. And even when we saw Jalen Hurts against Green Bay, completely different game plan. Everything that they've ran for Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts, we've been begging for them to run for Carson Wentz. And it hasn't happened. So it seems like there's a big schism between Wentz and Peterson, that once Peterson goes, he's going to show off these 4 games and be like, listen, look at what I can do with Jalen Hurts. And maybe they trade for Hurts. And they use those picks to build around Carson, who you spent so much. The only way you at this point you add weapons around Wentz is through the draft, because they're all going to be on rookie contracts. So if you trade Hurts for picks, you get these. Maybe you get Jamar Chase, and maybe you get Jalen Waddle, or maybe you get all these.
But if you
players.
trade Jalen, then you have no control over the desk. Like what I was seeing was that Doug, Jalen go to other team together, and that doesn't really happen with the trade unless there's just a lot happening behind the scenes. But from everything you're saying, it seems like Carson is the problem more than everyone else is the problem, and that schemes for everyone else but Carson have worked on the Eagles. So you're telling me that the solution is to take the head coach and the quarterback that fits better in your offense and take them away, and then leave.
Because I'm saying this because
Maddy to be a part of.
Who would hire this coach if that was the case?
I'm saying this because Wentz, from what I've heard and what I've been told, Wentz is a Lurie guy. This is Lurie's guy. This is not even Howie's guy. This is not even Doug's guy. This is Lurie's guy. So for Lurie wants his guy there, he's going to make sure he gets whatever coaches want to coach him. He wants whatever. So if Doug doesn't feel like that this is his guy, he's not going to want to be there. And he feels like he had his guy in the backup wherever he goes. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't think it happens. It's very far-fetched. And I say far-fetched things a lot. But it's, maybe Doug goes to, like, I threw this out there. I don't think this happens. Well, let's say Vic Fangio's time is done in Denver. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think Fangio stays. But let's say John Elway's like, I want another quarterback as my head coach. And he picks Doug Peterson. And they don't believe in Drew Lock. They send a second-round pick, maybe to Eagles for Hurts. That's a hell of an offense there with Hurts, Judy, Hamler, Sutton, Lindsey, Melvin Gordon. That's a damn good offense.
NFL legend Kendall Hinton.
Yes, Kendall Hinton backs up Hurts. You don't know, but I personally think I think Doug goes to Houston, which means Hurts doesn't go there. Obviously, they have Deshaun Watson.
I was going to say,
or the Jets.
Here's what I'm willing to buy in this little conspiracy bubble that we're currently in is.
Oh, I'm very conspiracy.
It's escalated to a whole other level.
I could see if you are just if it's just not working with that quarterback and he's had more success with mobile quarterbacks and those types of schemes, and the quarterback that he currently has is falling over on the ground when people come at him, and if that's the organization backing that guy at all costs and that doesn't work for you, honestly, what I could see at this point is that Doug is just auditioning for a head coaching job with a mobile quarterback. It might not be Jalen Hurts, but it could be I can actually run a successful offense with someone that fits my type of scheme. Carson Wentz doesn't fit that. And so if he has checked out at this point and somewhere like Houston is a destination, I could see that more than I could see this duo plan to
makes so much sense.
When it happens, I'm going to come back to this.
No, the time when it happens, I'm going to come back to this. It makes so much damn sense. Take your franchise. I didn't say anything.
I know, exactly. So how do you know what makes sense and doesn't make sense?
No. Listen. If Doug, so the rumors around Eagles Twitter is that Doug is going to step down after the season because he wants out of the situation. He has no control. He has no say in this coaching staff. He has no say in his personnel. Nothing. If Doug wants to go to Houston and he wants to impress owners, this is the move to make. You take out the franchise quarterback who isn't doing nothing. You take advantage of Jalen Hurts, and you make this a big old audition tape. You're in Houston. You land a job like nothing.
Or he goes to the Jets with Joe Douglas.
He's not going to the Jets. Why gotta ruin?
Why would you go to the Jets?
He has a good relationship with Joe Douglas. They have the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, mobile quarterback.
Is Trevor Lawrence really mobile?
He's
more like Nick
mobiler. He's mobile. He's more mobile than Wentz.
He's not the archetype of a mobile quarterback, though.
No, he's not.
He's not the
But you still get a dynamic quarterback at number one.
Why would you want a rookie quarterback when you have a veteran like Deshaun Watson in Houston?
Ton of cap space because you can really mold that. You and Joe can really mold that team. Or maybe he goes to Houston and he becomes a GM also. Maybe he's the next Bill O'Brien. Maybe.
No one should ever be the next Bill O'Brien or the next Jerry Jones. Like, there are reasons that like jobs exist with job titles, and you don't just decide that you do both of them.
I don't feel like hiring somebody.
Doug Peterson, an offensive coordinator. He should do one or the other, not both.
This is escalating.
Probably just head coach.
All right, so let's get the focus back. What are your predictions for Sunday night, Eagles wise and Saints wise? We'll start with Maddy. Chris, you can hold your non-making sense stuff.
Like a score prediction, or like how it's going to go?
Score prediction,
both, everything, whatever you want.
Paint the picture.
I understand how the Falcons felt trying to like predict that game, because it's like, how do you have any type of idea? I mean, there's a little bit of like tape on Jalen Hurts, but like, is it a fluke, or is he actually going to rally this offense together? I mean,
hold on, I'm going to interrupt you right now. Sorry, this is what I do. I just was reminded of when Jalen Hurts squatted 600 pounds in college.
Oh, did he?
So, okay,
at BYU?
At Oklahoma.
What do you think about
BYU? That's Zach Wilson.
It's Taysom Hill who squats 600 pounds, or he
used to. He doesn't do it now. Not in a 30-year-old body. What 30-year-old squats 600 pounds? They're lying.
39-year-old breaks 11 ribs and is running around on the field 3 days later. The Saints are not. They're all psychopath quarterbacks. It's what we like.
There's no ways. I'm sorry. You can probably break ribs better than squatting 600 pounds at 30. I can barely get out of bed every morning.
Tell that to Drew's lung.
I'm just saying. I'm
saw the hit in person. I was in New Orleans and went to that game. So
I'm telling you what my back is feeling right now. All right. I sneezed the wrong way and I can't.
Are you getting emotional? You okay?
I'm fine.
Want to talk about it?
No.
Okay. Maddy,
so my predictions that I don't really have. I think that our pass rush definitely got downgraded without Marcus Davenport last week, and that was kind of alarming to watch. At the same time, though, if you look back, there were a ton of holds that weren't called. Don't know how that's going to, go this time around, but I just think if you guys had better receivers that could, like a Michael Thomas for a Taysom Hill, that's the problem, is like not having one of those leaders on the other side of the ball to give that rookie a sense of confidence when they're up against the number one ranked defense is definitely daunting. And I think that you guys will just have to kind of use him to establish some type of run game. I don't know how that's been going for you guys lately, but if it's just the Jalen Hurts show the whole time, it's just, this isn't the time to, go 110% with him. This is the time to do a somewhat scaled back version of that and try to see how he opens up the rest of your offense. I still think we're going to win. I mean, Washington beat the Steelers, so it's, can happen. But I mean, the Steelers almost lost to the Ravens the week before that, and, they're kind of trending downward. I could see this going like 34-21 Saints.
You think we could score 21 points?
Everybody always thinks we're going to score over 20 points, and it doesn't happen.
It's more about my assessment of like our defense at certain times and like than anyone else. But
because the last few weeks have been 16, 17, 17, and it's just been bad.
Yeah, but that was with Carson Wentz.
Fine. Last game was with Hurts.
Yeah, and he did a lot better and could have perhaps scored more. But I think that we have a better team than Green Bay, but
yeah, I do agree with possibly. I mean, I don't know, but Aaron Rodgers is balling the hell out this season.
I mean, yes, but they almost lose to the Jaguars, and I we always start off horribly at the beginning of the season. It's really unfortunate that we happen to play them because it's going to be a tiebreaker that's going to keep coming back to bite us. But I don't know. I see them collapse in the playoffs a lot like they did last year against San Francisco, and they, just almost barely beat not very good teams. And not that we don't always do that, but I don't know. I get all in my like Drew Brees feels when people are like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, because
I noticed that the moment I say Aaron Rodgers, you rolled your eyes completely. But I don't think we scored 20 points. I mean, unless Jalen Hurts is the second coming of Lamar Jackson meets like God knows who. I want to
Lamar Jackson sucks as a passer, so why are you comparing him to Lamar Jackson?
Come on. I said Lamar Jackson and the second coming is just somebody else. Lamar Jackson because of the run game. Like that's who Jalen Hurts is going to be programmed to be on Sunday. He's going to be running all over the field. We're not going to have Miles Sanders doing the run.
I would say he's the next coming of Russell Wilson.
I would call him more Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson then.
I would say Kyler Murray. I wouldn't touch Russell Wilson with Jalen Hurts. Like I'm not that.
If you're saying, you're comparing him to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's an MVP. Russell Wilson's never won an MVP before.
Has he not?
So, no, he's never received even one MVP vote. In his career.
He's been robbed. Yeah, he's been robbed completely. I don't know. I mean, Russell Wilson and Drew Brees,
well, he says that he models his game after him, so maybe that was a mistake. Apparently, it doesn't win MVP awards.
I could have Brees is never. I thought he did in 2009. That was just a Super Bowl.
Nope, Peyton Manning won it that year for having more game-winning drives, and Drew's quarterback rating apparently wasn't enough, but then in 2011, Aaron Rodgers had the better quarterback rating, and apparently that mattered more then.
We just moved goalposts.
My big thing with Drew Brees is, and please don't get offended.
When you say that means she's going to. So
yeah, most likely. My thing about, I feel like he's a tad bit overrated at times, just because he checks down more than any other quarterback, in my opinion. So the completion percentage is always going to be high because he has Kamara back there.
He's a more expensive Chad Pennington.
Okay, I'm more offended by that than everything else. So here's the thing though, is our offense, like I would compare us to like, I don't know if you guys follow soccer, but like European soccer is very much short passes, controlling the possession and tempo of the game. Whereas there's other styles that are like, let's just kick the ball downfield and I'll run for it. It's exciting, but it doesn't establish any type of tempo. And yes, it's cool that Aaron Rodgers can throw deep balls, but now you've just, put your defense back on the field a lot sooner. And you're not controlling time of possession with those type of plays. But if you can eat up short plays and still get down the field, then you basically have a stranglehold on the control of the game. And so, I'm not going to fault Drew for the fact that our offense excels in those types of situations. But, his accuracy is more, I understand like the completion rate. Yes, that a lot of the rate itself. But it's like when you look at the actual throws that he makes in those types of tight windows, it's more of like those intangibles that really stand out. And it's just, I think his clutch ability is just really underrated. And like Drew Brees in a 2-minute drill, I will take over any other quarterback at this point.
Would you take him over Sam Bradford in a 2-minute drill?
Yes.
So I had to ask that question. Eagles legend Sam Bradford.
Yeah. Was he ever on the Rams?
Who's ever?
That's where he was drafted.
They beat us a couple times on the Rams because my like body just like heated up a little bit when you said Sam Bradford.
Yeah,
that's why.
Everybody has gotten paid a lot to do a little in his career.
Brock Osweiler is still
Wow, I forgot about that kid. It's really highway robbery. Chris,
Albert
we got you. How are you feeling about Sunday? What's your prediction?
I mean, I'm so far on a 2-game win streak on predictions. I've predicted the Eagles to lose the last 2 games.
Winning while losing, that's 2020.
It's just, I mean, what do I have now? I have a team dismay, and my fantasy team is garbage, and just
you have conspiracy theories.
And my conspiracy theories, exactly. I just have that. I'm just like this, just like this.
Yeah.
I just lost 199 to 70 in fantasy. And
I can't talk about fantasy this year. It's
like I started. I
think you eliminated me from the playoffs.
Good. And I don't know why I did this, but I started Wentz. He gave me 4.96. Christian Kirk gave me 1.2.
He gave me 0.95 on my team.
Calvin Ridley gave me 15.8. Okay. Raygor gave me 11.5. Antonio Gibson left the game after giving me a 1.5. Edwards-Helaire was active but didn't play, so 0. Tanyan gave me 13.9, and Darren Mooney gave me 8.3. So it's
cool. So I finally dropped Tanyan, and he actually got fantasy points.
Yeah. So and on the bench,
about fantasy right now is that you're in last place, buddy.
I know. So in our league, the last place person has to perform a song of choice of the champions and put it on Twitter.
I fully support that as a
so things aren't looking great.
Culturing your audience, it's a win-win all around.
Things aren't looking great for me. But anyways, we're not talking about that.
I'm very curious about this.
So far the Eagles' bugaboo has been slants and has been outside runs. And you have the slant god in Michael Thomas, and you have a quarterback who's just running outside at this point. And it's just so
Daniel Jones outran the whole defense. So
things that go wrong for the Eagles defense go right for the Saints offense. So it just
love that.
And Alvin Kamara is just running rampant. So the Eagles defense cannot stop a nosebleed at this point and on runs. And people want to say, like, especially Eagles fans, defense is doing great. Right now, the Eagles are top 10 in a few things in yards and touch. But it's because the offense has been so bad that they're just turning it over, or they're not punting it deep, or they're stalling out at the 5-yard line. So when they punt it, the other team's getting at the 35-yard line. So the offenses don't really have far to go to score. So so there's an asterisk on this top defense thing. But then we saw Aaron Jones run a 77 yards untouched,
that was
pretty much.
Phenomenal blocking I've ever seen in the NFL.
Blocking and most pathetic tackling attempts like there.
Nothing will be worse than Beastquake. It's fine.
Well, Beastquake.
We'll always hold that one dear to us.
That was he was just bouncing off of everybody. But then you see the Daniel Jones run, and you see all these big runs because
and then he's like a fainting goat and fell over But he got there.
Lance Stevenson came in and just blew him to the ground. But it's just that there's these. I love Singleton, but this linebacker course sucks. Darius Slay do not have a corner who's shit. But Darius Slay's thing right now is he's hurt. He's hurt. But he's an elite corner in a bad scheme, and we saw that once before in Nnamdi Asomugha. Elite corner in a bad scheme, and I'm not saying Darius Slay is Nnamdi Asomugha because so much better, but Jim Schwartz is wasting him, and they're just going to keep running slants and reverses on this defense because Darius Slay's not going to be able to keep up with that. So then we have Michael Thomas on Avonte Maddox. So that's David on Goliath there.
I don't know. Taysom's kind of opened up Michael Thomas a little bit. Hasn't been as many slants.
Well, you know what? He'll be lined up against Avonte Maddox, and then they'll send them deep because Michael Thomas is like 10 inches taller than Avonte Maddox. So am I, and I'm only 6'1". So it's and then you'll see Emmanuel Sanders go off, and you see Jared Cook go. Tight ends have career days.
I'm not totally high on Jared Cook right now.
You'll be high on after Sunday. You'll be high on after Sunday. We can't guard tight ends. Can't. So it's just.
But I like Adam Trotman better than Jared Cook at this point, and so does Taysom Hill.
He'll be trotting out to a touchdown.
Goodbye.
The Saints going to win, I would say 35-17.
What was the last score of the last
34-21.
No, not the playoff.
Oh, the last score of the game that we played you guys?
Yeah, you guys.
A lot to a little.
43-17, I think.
A lot to a little.
Yeah.
You said what?
A lot to a little.
Oh, this is a lot taller. Okay. So before we wrap up, Maddie, if you don't mind, let everybody know who's watching where they can find your articles, everything you do, where they can follow you at.
Sure. So I write for Canal St Chronicles. You can find me over there, and you can find them also all on my Twitter at Maddy Hudak, MADDYHUDAK _94.
So quickly before we go, you went from Bay Area to New Orleans.
Yeah, I went to college there.
And now, why are you in Philly?
Job after college, and then kind of just drifting aimlessly, and then 2020, and then here we
Stuck.
are. Yeah.
There you go.
How was New Orleans?
So,
Huh?
How was it living in New Orleans?
Exhausting, but fun. Good time in my life to do it. I don't need to go to Mardi Gras for like the next decade plus, but
that's for a different kind of podcast. So, so yeah, we're all in agreement that the Saints are beating down Jalen Hurts on Sunday.
I hope he does well. I'll maybe not. Do you guys want him to do well? Honestly,
Yes, of course. Yes.
Does that make things worse? Like, wouldn't it be easier if he sucked?
Yes.
It'll be a lot easier.
Well, it sucks either way. Like, it completely sucks either way. 100%.
Well, the team, the organization is gonna be a total embarrassment no matter what.
Because if he sucks,
if he sucks, then you guys.
It just looks stupid.
If he sucks and then Wentz sucks this year, it's like, what the hell are we doing? If he does well, then they're still like, what the hell are we doing with Wentz and all? So it's just
bad. It's a bad. Hey, you know what? Trump actually put us in a situation. Bad things happen in Philadelphia. That's where it all started.
We're not doing Trump things here. Okay.
I just twitched a little bit.
Yeah. Let's. You know what? Okay. Time to go. Thank you for everybody watching. Sorry to end the podcast like that.
I'm Brian Cameron. This is Chris Infante. Thank you for tuning into Flippin' the Birds. We'll be live again next week, and at some point between tonight and tomorrow, Chris will be announcing.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that right now.
Really?
Yeah, right now. This makes them listen to the whole podcast.
Oh my god!
If they got this far,
yeah,
they probably X'd out. The winner is.
Are you just like guessing off the top of your head?
I was doing this.
I dare you to make up somebody else. Just make somebody up. Are you really? Your phone?
So yeah, I'm just doing this. The winner is. Oh wait, I got my screenshot. I got my screensaver on.
What if I hit the outro before you announce the winner?
What?
What if I just hit
Don't do that. Don't do that. The winner is Lord Unger, 94.
Well, there you go.
Dan.
Lord Unger.
His name's Dan.
congratulations, Lord.
Lord Unger.
Red Crest watch from Lots of Rain. Chris will be reaching out to you.
Congratulations. Or you should reach out to me if you're listening. He's probably not even here, motherfucker.
Wait, give it a day or two. Let's see what happens. Damn. This is Flipping the Birds. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Birds.